medianoche en pengao. I'm gonna explain where I got the idea.
Let's make some sandwiches.
Look. Empingao.
I can get my wife a sandwich though.
Give it.
He just takes the whole thing. Hey guys, welcome to Mad Scientist BBQ. I'm Jeremy Yoder. Today we're going to do a barbecue version of a Cuban sandwich called the Austin Midnight. So the Austin Midnight sandwich is maybe something you haven't heard of, or maybe it is if you've watched the movie Chef. I've watched that movie minimum 20 times. I love that movie. If somebody said, hey, you want to go watch it right now? I would say absolutely yes. It's just a great, great movie if you're somebody who loves food. And as part of the movie, they had a food truck where they made Cuban sandwiches. And when they got to Austin, they stopped at Franklin Barbecue, used some of the Franklin Barbecue brisket to make what they called Austin Midnight sandwiches, because there's a Cuban sandwich called medianoche, or midnight, and they made it Austin Midnight.
Swap this for the pork shoulder. You make like Austin Midnight.
I like that.
By using Central Texas smoked brisket, and I'm gonna do the same today. Almost a decade ago, one of the first barbecue meals I served to other people was my attempt at recreating the Austin Midnight. I had just watched the movie Chef, and I was super pumped about the barbecue that I was doing. I was like, dude, we're gonna have this party. I'm gonna make this Austin Midnight sandwich. It's gonna be the greatest thing ever. Now, my brisket cooking skills weren't what they are today, and my cooking skills in general weren't what they are today. And I wanted to use some of the brisket that I've cooked to make this Cuban sandwich, because recently I was in Miami and we're like, we should go get something to eat. And we found a place online called Sandwich. And I thought, that is the greatest name for a restaurant ever. The restaurant's called Sandwich. And so we went there and they served just Cuban sandwiches, and it was absolutely incredible. If you guys are in Miami, I 100% recommend you go get one of those sandwiches. It's just so delicious. You get a Cuban coffee. Everything about the place made me love it. And I thought, you know what, when I get back, I'm gonna make that Austin Midnight again, but I'm gonna do it better than I did before. So the brisket we're gonna be using is a brisket that I actually smoked yesterday. It's waiting in the warmer right now, but we cooked it for about 12 hours using oak wood. We seasoned it with salt and pepper and then a little brisket rub on top. And this is gonna be kind of a beef version of the traditional marinated pork that you'd use in a Cuban sandwich. So I generally prefer beef over pork, so I'm thinking I'm gonna like the sandwich even a little bit more than the version that uses pork. But apart from that, we have ham, we have Swiss cheese, we have mustard, we have pickles, all the stuff that makes a Cuban sandwich so delicious. I'm gonna go to the warmer, pull out a brisket, take some slices, and we're gonna get started. But first, the Cuban bread. Now, I took several hours to make this bread. That's actually 100% a lie. I went to a local Cuban restaurant called Havana Rumba. Shout out to that place. I love that place too. But regardless, I asked them if I could buy some bread. They looked at me a little bit funny, but I was thinking, if I want to do the sandwich, I got to have authentic bread. So I'm going to cut it maybe about 10 inches long, and we're going to go about constructing the sandwich. Now, one other note is that I don't have a plancha, so we're going to have to improvise. I'm going to use my Maiden griddle, and shout out to TMG for giving me one of these. I think this is actually a bacon press, but I'm gonna heat this up with a torch and put it on top of the sandwich so you get some weight, so it presses it down and browns the top. So let me get the bread and the brisket, and we're gonna get started.
As you guys know, barbecue isn't the be-all, end-all of all cooking. And anytime that I'm not using a smoker or a grill to cook something, I'm using my Maiden cookware, and I wanna thank Maiden for sponsoring today's video. There's a reason why Maiden cookware is used in multiple 3 Michelin star restaurants, as well as over 2,000 restaurants across the country, and has over 100,000 5-star reviews online. I've been using Maiden cookware for a couple of years now. The carbon steel griddle is the piece of cookware that I use most frequently. It sears steaks, it cooks smash burgers, it does all kinds of stuff, and because I can use it inside or outside, I can create all the smoke I need to get a great sear on a steak or to get a perfect crust on a burger, and I don't have to worry about smoking up the inside of the house. For instance, last night we made some awesome flat iron steaks, and as you see in this video, this griddle is great at toasting sandwiches like Cubanos if you don't have a plancha. This griddle comes pre-seasoned and is naturally non-stick. So instead of having to get some big electric griddle in order to make the kind of stuff you see and have wanted to create at restaurants, you can make it at your own house or in your own backyard like I do with this griddle that you can then conveniently place wherever you need to get it out of the way. This thing is the most versatile piece of cookware that I own. You can use it for eggs, for hash browns, for steaks, for burgers, for all kinds of stuff. And it's big enough to fit over 2 burners so I can get lots of heat and I can sear multiple steaks at one time. This griddle combined with this press will allow you to make burgers, steaks, whatever you want, and it's going to be incredible. So check out Maiden's carbon steel griddle and Maiden's other cookware. Their nonstick is incredible. Stainless, incredible. Carbon steel, incredible. I have yet to find a product of theirs I don't love. But click on that link in my description and save on your order today.
Do a little mini sandwich for Emma. So I just cut this bread because obviously it's a huge long loaf. I cut it to be about the same length as this press so I can toast the entire top side. Because if it's too long, then the ends don't get toasted. I want a nice even browning on the whole top side. So I'm gonna split these in half, then I'm gonna go get some brisket and we're gonna start constructing this thing. It's a good thing that brisket knives also work as bread knives. I can smell it. Oof. We had it in the warmer, getting nice and warm. This is gonna be so good. All right, I'm gonna use lean from the brisket here because I think it's gonna be more consistent and I can use the whole slice. So I'll separate this guy out. Oh, that is good looking stuff right there. Oh, I'm so hungry right now, man. Even the end piece looks good, guys. It'll be a little treat, a little sugar cookie later. Now, if I get a little brisket grease on the sandwich, I think that'll be okay. First thing, some Swiss cheese. Yeah, all right. Oh yeah. Now I'm going in with the brisket. Let's take some of these center slices. Brisket going down. Like such. I want to add more, but we don't want to make the sandwich too big. Now we're gonna go with some ham. I'm gonna use these pickles instead of the chips just because I think it's easier, better coverage. And, oh, if we played our cards right, and I think we did, for this sandwich. Pardon me, for this sandwich. Now, last thing we need, we have to put mustard on the bread. Now, the traditional way to do it is yellow mustard. I know you're not supposed to use any kind of other mustard, but at my house, I have Dijon mustard, I have spicy brown mustard, I have whole grain mustard. I love mustard. The only thing is, my least favorite mustard just happens to be regular yellow ballpark mustard, though I still like it, but I like the other kinds of mustard even more. So I'm gonna do one with just yellow mustard, then I'm gonna do one with Dijon mustard. I'll compare. I think I'm gonna like the one with Dijon more, but it's hard to argue with how good those sandwiches were in Miami. All the other mustards have been used. I have to pull the seal off of this one, if that tells you anything about how often they get used at my house. Here we go. We're just gonna go like this. A healthy dose. Spatula, we'll spread it around. Set it on top. Now we have to get our griddle ready. So I'm gonna light this burner and I'm gonna use a torch to heat up that bacon press. Ooh. We got some butter right here. Lay it down in the middle. We're gonna put our bread. Careful, careful. Goes on. Next round of butter on the top. This is crucial. Gonna have even browning. Come to think of it, I could have just preheated this bacon press on one of these burners beforehand. But round two, that's what we'll do. All right, let's see how we did. That sounds really good. Let's see. Ooh, good crunch there too. Oh man. This is gonna be so good. All right, I gotta try it here. Got a little dark there, but here we go. Oh. That's freaking good, man. Taste the cheese and everything. This is incredibly good. One of the differences between, this and, another sandwich or run-of-the-mill sandwich is that the meat inside is so good you could eat it by itself and be totally satisfied. But now that we have some crunch from the bread, we have snap from the pickles, we have some sharpness from the mustard, we have some saltiness added on the outside with that ham, And then, obviously, meat and cheese go together so well. This is a killer sandwich. I want to eat the whole thing, but I know I want to try it with Dijon, maybe a couple of the other mustards too, but I'll have one more bite. Man, it's so good. Round two. I love Swiss cheese so much. It's where there's brisket on the smoke. That is warm. I love that sound so much. Here we go. If you look at the top side right there, guys, beautiful golden brown. If we look at the underside, also golden brown. I don't want the sandwich to fall apart. If you can see it, oh, it's perfect. And crispy. This is gonna be good. Yellow ballpark mustard or not. Man. Okay, here we go. All right, lift this up. Oh, we got a little bit of cheese pull. Oh. Don't worry, that'll eat just fine. Okay, now that is a killer sandwich. Here we see why this sandwich is so special. Because you have a Cuban sandwich that we stole, we hijacked. This is so good. We have brisket bark, smoky, salty, good. We have brisket meat underneath, nice and tender. We have cheese, Swiss cheese, which I love. We have pickles that I love. Gives some snap to the whole thing. Then we have this crunchy bread on top. And I use Dijon mustard. Oh, here we go. It's probably really hot, but it's gonna be worth it even if I burn myself. Here we go, one bite. Oh. Hit with the brisket bark and all the smokiness. Dijon mustard is king.
Empingao.
So if you guys are like me and you want to find more creative ways than just slicing brisket and eating it, because you still love the cooking process, but you're trying to find an easy outlet to make some delicious food that other people appreciate while you can still go through the process of creating the perfect brisket cook, this is it, okay? Get you some Cuban bread, some pickles, some Swiss cheese. I forgot the ham on this one. It's whatever kind of. Yes. Probably. Now. You'll be like, oh yeah, it was there the whole time. I must have missed it. Get yourself some Cuban bread, some Swiss cheese, the mustard of your choice. I know that there'll probably be people fighting in the comments, just only yellow mustard. It's whatever kind of mustard you want. You cook yourself up some brisket, throw some ham on there too, and you're in for an absolute treat. And the beauty of this is you can serve it to anybody. Like, who doesn't like sandwiches? I don't know, probably bad people. But for me, if there's one sandwich that I could eat, this particular sandwich right here with the Dijon mustard. Guys, give this a shot. If you've tried this, let me know in the comments what you think about creating a sandwich like this, or if you have another sandwich that you think, oh, well, this is the wrong barbecue sandwich. You need to make this one instead. I want to see that too, because for me, I love cooking food. I love eating food. I love everything about food. So other things for me to try are awesome. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, you can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, X, and Patreon at Mad Scientist BBQ. I'll see you guys next time.